Welcome to Launching Light, the podcast for lightworkers and spiritual entrepreneurs to get tips and inspiration to launch their light in the world via their sacred business. I'm your host, Coach Bianca from FuelYourMagic.com. Are you seeking ways to raise your vibe to rise in your business? If so, keep on listening. Our guest for this episode of Launching Light is Devani Freeman. Devani is known to many as an intuitive business and marketing strategist that helps women to grow their businesses with soul-aligned strategies. She helps women entrepreneurs to confidently fill their offerings with soulmate clients by harnessing the power of magnetic messaging, online visibility, paid ads, lucrative launching, and energy alignment. She infuses her marketing wisdom, intuition, and energy work to support client results. In addition, Devani runs a boutique social media and Facebook ad agency supporting clients with high-level done-for-you services. During our conversation, some topics we touch on are how energy work helps you to show up powerfully in your business, having a balanced and aligned social media presence, and so much more. So let's get right into it. Enjoy the episode. Hi, Devani. Thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
So, can you describe a little bit about yourself and your work?
Yes. So I am a intuitive business and marketing strategist, and I help coaches, healers, light workers to be able to build an audience and convert that audience into paying clients to be able to sell out their online courses and programs. And I merge marketing strategy with inner soul wisdom and helping my clients to access things that may be standing in the way of them truly showing up in their power. And I also have another side of my business where I help more established entrepreneurs to be able to hand over their social media or their Facebook advertising or launch support needs to a team, and we support with lead generation and social media content and all of that fun stuff.
Okay, and how did you first launch your business? How did this two arms of your business come to be?
Yeah, so about 9 years ago, I found myself working for a marketing company in corporate America. I had randomly landed my foot in that job. Before that, I did hair for 6 years. I knew nothing about marketing or sales, but I knew is that I had a soul calling to do something bigger and greater, but I didn't know what that was. And I randomly found myself getting a job at this advertising company, and I learned about marketing and sales and all sorts. And it was fun for a bit. I made really great money at the young age of 26, but I was not cut out for corporate America. And I didn't like just being a number. I didn't like the really toxic environment. And that's when I knew I wanted to do something else. So I started working on a plan B. And it was a home-based business. And with that, I was like, how do I generate leads to sell my products that I had? Was in the health and wellness industry. And I started to learn about lead generation and about positioning yourself as an expert online and attraction marketing. And as I started to go down a rabbit hole, I started to get some success in my home-based business. And that's when I had a light bulb moment. And my soul was like, you need to offer your own social media management services to small businesses, because that was the type of clients I was working with in my corporate America job. And I just could see the trend of where things were going online with social media. This was at the very beginning when like Facebook was just like kicking in and Facebook pages were really live. And so I knew that I had this opportunity, and it was one of the scariest things I ever did because I didn't have a big savings. I was not really set up. I didn't have a significant other to really rely on. It was like a sink or swim, but my soul was like calling me so loud that I knew that I had to make this leap. And if I was going to fail, then so be it. I would figure it out. And so that's when I started my business. And it started as a small social media management company. And I found like I think it started with like two clients, and one of them was a local business. And so I was helping them with online social media marketing, but also like in-person events. So I loved it because I was building this community, networking with women, and bringing entrepreneurs together. And then that morphed into then doing the coaching and training as I learned these skill sets, and I learned how to grow people's social media. I learned how to um, start growing a team, and all these things I wanted to teach and share that with others. And so then that ventured off into then the coaching and training, and then really niching down the last couple of years into helping specifically with achieving 5 and 6 figure launches. So selling out online courses, really, really learning Facebook ads because that's such a powerful medium, and helping light workers with Facebook ads, the ones that are really making an impact with these incredible products. And so that's kind of where I'm at today, is doing a merge of that, and then have really paired in also a lot of the inner work and the spiritual work, with the online marketing with social media, because when we understand energy, we understand that energy is everything, whether you're online or offline, and being able to merge that and leverage that to be able to have greater success in business.
Right. I find it so funny that all of the people that I've been speaking to on interviews have a similar story in the beginning, that they were doing something that wasn't aligned, and they're multi-talented and they're doing something that is so completely opposite of what they're doing now. Like you had mentioned, doing hair. I was the same way. I was a gymnastics coach for several years. So I was a coach, but in a different capacity. And I was also in corporate America for a long time, so I can feel you there. I really know what it feels like to be a cog in the wheel and feel like, you're doing something that is completely unaligned and doesn't really help people like you want to help them. So I
Right.
can totally relate to that. And also, you had mentioned helping out light workers with their energy. When I first met you online, it was your InstaSpark challenge. That's how I first came across your brand.
Yeah.
And I had joined your group, which I believe then was the Heart Centered Business Lounge at the time. And it was a great group. You were very supportive. You were very aware of your group's needs, and you were there constantly. You weren't one of those entrepreneurs that just opened up a group and just let it run wild. You were very present in the
Yeah.
group, and it's grown and evolved over the years. But what I really love about your group right now is the energy healing sessions that you've been doing. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, in my free group, which I now call the Goddess CEO Sisterhood, um, I do trainings in there. So every so often, I'll do a series. Let's see. The last one I did was amplify, or no, sorry, it was raise your vibration series, and really helping to teach women about their vibration and about their frequency and how to raise that, because the higher you get your frequency, the less amount of low vibrational feelings and thoughts start to dissipate. A lot of the collective on the planet are operating in a low vibrational frequency, which can equate to feeling depressed and sadness, and um, feeling like you have mental struggles and all those sort of things, because we're not in this world that really nurtures the sensitive soul. I truly believe that most entrepreneurs are empaths, are highly
Mhm.
sensitive people. And
Agree.
that is what, yeah, and we've all been placed on this planet at this time for a reason. And so when you're trying to share your life's work and share your soul, like, it can feel so much harder for us because we are so sensitive to energy. Like, why can't I just get over myself? Why can't I just get over this self-doubt? Why can't I just be confident? And truly, there's a feeling in the nervous system of not feeling safe. And some of
Mm,
this comes from this lifetime, but also previous lifetimes of us being healers in past lifetimes and being crucified and like all sorts of things, because we truly are healers at the core of it, doing our own healing work through our different crafts and coaching and services and products. So I created the Raise Your Vibration series and just teaching entrepreneurs about energy awareness and how to use that in combination of showing up and being visible online. And then I do energy activations where it's like a meditation, but basically I am taking you through different realms to be able to connect with your spirit guides, to be able to relax your nervous system, to be able to clear out any energy blocks that's keeping your chakras from flowing, to be able to stand in that power, to be able to use that voice, open up that throat chakra, to be able to make the difference in the world. So I do that. And then I just started doing regular just energy updates. And I also like to pair that in with the moon, because when I started tracking the moon about 2 years ago, it changed my entire world. I went from like being a victim to being sensitive to being empowered of knowing what's going on in the world. Because as empaths, we are every day affected by the moon. Mama Moon is definitely connected to emotions. It's a very strong energetic presence. And so when I started tracking the moon and understanding the different moon phases and where we're at each time of the month, it helped me to understand and be empowered to know, oh, okay, we're in a waning moon, like we're getting ready for a new moon. The energy is a little more slowing down, me feeling a little more fatigued or are exhausted versus getting in self beat up because we think we need to always be on and be working in masculine energy constantly is just not how we're supposed to be doing things. And that's what a lot of people are waking up to. So those are the things that I love to teach in the group.
Right.
Obviously, you can tell I'm passionate about it, and like to offer as much free resources as I can, and also paid things as well, because I do believe when you invest in yourself, and I've had to invested a lot of money in myself and on this journey, that's when you also get the biggest transformation, because there's fear in, oh my gosh, will this work? Or I need to make this work, when you have that energy exchange.
Right. So you had mentioned being in masculine energy. Yeah, that definitely really is not sustainable. And I think as a collective, we're starting to realize that now. Things are shifting all over. um,
Yes.
right. So besides using tracking the moon and using moon energy for your self care, what are your favorite self care practices or tools for self care that you personally use?
Yes. So I track the moon using it's called Moon Sights, so Moon, and then Sights Sights, Moon Sights
Mhm.
app, from an amazing astrologer, Vanessa Carazone, and it plugs into my Google Calendar, and so I can to know like exactly where the moon is at. Little do most people know that the moon actually changes every 3 days, every two and a
Mm.
half to 3 days, into a different sign. And each sign holds an energetic quality. So, like when I love Aries moons because it's in a fire sign and I just get so much done. And I'll even not realize it. I'm like, wow, I'm on fire. And then I'll look at my calendar. Oh, I got an Aries moon going on here. So
Mhm.
I am always looking at the moon and also what phase. Like we just had a new moon of this recording. And so this is a time to plant seeds, to start new projects, to build momentum. And then at the same time of tracking the moon, I'm tracking my own personal flow, my own menstrual cycle on where I'm
Mhm.
at. Because again, we are these beautiful creatures that we cycle every 28 days, the same amount as a moon cycle. Little
Right.
coincidence there. And so we're not like men. Men cycle 24 hours. We cycle 28 days. So this
Right.
helps me to plan out and knowing, okay, I'm in my, ovulation period. I'm in my menstruating period, and knowing these different phases, because this will help me to understand my energy, like, the week before my menstruation run, I'm in, that period, I'm going to be maybe a little bit more irritable. I'm probably going to feel more overwhelmed. So I actually don't want to book out my calendar too much in that 10-day period as much as I can. I want to do it more at the beginning. So that helps in my self-care and really honoring myself as a woman, honoring the feminine, and honoring that we're not supposed to be on all the time, but we have this power inside of us and this power from our womb, our power of being able to create life through understanding our phases and cycles throughout the month. So every week at the beginning of the week, I'll write down what my intention is. I'll write down what is my personal cycle that's going on. So what's my energy level? And then what is the moon cycle that's going on? And that helps me to know, okay, what self-care practices I'm going to put into place. Like, am I going to have like a little more flowy, lighter workouts? Like, I've been really into feeling strong and doing weight training lately, but last week, right before the new moon, I was like, my energy was like, no. So it's like understanding that, being able to pair that around. And also when it comes to like food and eating, I know right before my period, I'm going to want to eat a lot more carbs and not beat myself up. Like, do we need extra fuel that time? And so that are self-care practices that he put into place. Meditation is so important, like so important for the nervous system and for our souls. And meditation can look like so many different ways. It can look like simply being present, laying down, sitting up. I honestly love meditating laying down.
So do
I
I.
don't fall asleep. Yeah, unless it's like really early in the morning, I'll maybe go into a next wave of like deep rest. But it's a beautiful way. But you can also, do a meditation walk where you're not listening to music and you're being in silence and you're being present to the things around you. But whatever that looks like, but really focusing on unhooking from the ordinary mind. And that takes a lot of practice to do. And I'm still on my journey with doing that. But being able to relax the system and get out of the present ordinary mind into different states of relaxation, which can actually bring in a natural intelligence of healing into the body. So the slowing down is actually speeding up. The more that we slow down and make time for these pockets of meditation and stillness, the more we're speeding up, because that's when we can actually hear the voice of our higher self. That's when we can get the intuitive insights. Oh, I need to do this project. Oh, I need to do this, or I want to do this, or that feels good. That's when we get those little hits, right? Is when we're in the pause.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Those are really, really great tips, what you do for yourself. And what I found you saying all of this, what came to me was that you're taking control of your situation and you're responding in a way that is proactive instead of reactive. So you're using like the moon cycles, for example, to know what is going on so that you can make a choice knowing what is coming up, as opposed to being all over the place, which I feel a lot of empaths and entrepreneurs do. It's like, we got to put out a fire now. We got to put out a fire now. And you're totally
Right.
in, you're totally in like fight or flight mode all the time. And you're reacting to things as opposed to being proactive and planning your day and, planning how you want to feel and taking control of your energy. So awesome, awesome tips. Great advice. Great advice. Um,
Thank you. Yeah.
you could tell someone who actually like walks the walk because you can see it, being displayed, how well you do in your business and your connection in social media, which, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you social media questions because you are a social media expert. So if you wouldn't mind sharing, what do you feel is the best type of strategy for light workers and empaths to show up online and to, promote themselves and promote their business? Do you think it's
Mm.
like one on, like, it depends on the person, or is there like a general guideline that you can maybe explain?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what I feel like would be the best answer for that question, because the question is very broad, so
It's
let
very
me answer it
general.
this way.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So everyone, I'm not going to say everyone needs to be on social media, because honestly, you can build a thriving business without social media. If
Right.
you want to make an impact, a
Hmm.
greater impact in being able to be visible with your voice, then social media is a perfect, amazing, incredible medium that we have. And I think in this day and age and where we're at on the planet and what is going on, the more of us that can be sharing our voice online, the better,
Right.
because this is a time where we need to awaken the masses. And
Exactly.
so what that comes down to as far as a strategy is finding a platform that you love, not thinking that you need to be on all of them, because you do not. It will get way too overwhelming. If you're at the beginning, one platform that you love, that lights you up, that allows you to feel creative and express content in the way that feels good, and do that consistently, show up consistently. So that may look like Instagram. If you love images, you love doing short videos, you love stories, that can be a really good platform. If you love kind of being a little bit more private, building a community in a private group, Facebook groups are an incredible medium. And so picking a platform, and
Hmm.
I get a lot of connections, a lot of business, a lot of that from Facebook, because that's where I started. So that's always been my foundation, and in my Facebook group. And then I branched off a couple of years ago and starting Instagram. Still to this day, I will post on Facebook and get hundreds of comments with a lower amount on Instagram. So again, it's picking the platform and knowing what works and being consistent with that. And
Right.
and so you also want to look at what's your strategy for selling out or wanting to promote your services and offerings. And if you're looking at doing a Facebook group, I think doing online challenges are incredible. And that's what I started doing about, I don't know, 5 years ago, that has allowed me to grow a very profitable business. And just a simple 3 day or 5 day online challenge where you're bringing someone through a journey. This is not done right on your Instagram. This is done in a private Facebook group, but you're building momentum. You're getting a lot of people in your Facebook group at one time. You're also getting people to share that challenge by giving away prizes and allowing them to share it on Instagram and social media. And that's a strategy that I would do to sell out an offering, or quote unquote, like have a launch. So again, it depends on what you're doing. You're showing up consistently on a platform. And for me, I think it's really powerful to be using stories and showing people behind the scenes. So Instagram stories, which feeds the Facebook stories, is something I do every single day. I'm
Right.
showing up for my people every single day, but I'm not necessarily posting every day. Like, I don't believe in I have to post every single day, so you're forcing yourself to post, because people
Mm.
can feel your energy through your post. So I only post when I get hit with inspiration. I'm like, oh, my tribe needs to hear this message. And so I don't have a regular schedule on posting. I don't believe you need to have a regular schedule on posting. You don't need to post every single day. It's more about the energy behind the post than the actual amount of posting that you're doing. And when we can really understand that, and understand that the more energy, the more alignment, the more you're speaking in your truth, the more people are going to feel that and gravitate and be attracted to you.
Yeah, that approach is so refreshing because for so many years it's like you need to have a schedule and Monday, Wednesday, Friday you need to post. You should post every other day and you should post morning, noon, and night, and it's very there's a lot of pressure there. So
Right.
that's very like it relieves you of feeling like you have to do something and instead feel like do it when you feel it. And I think that makes us feel more in alignment when we do so. You force yourself to do something that goes against your intuition and goes against how you feel. That's where the dissonance comes in. So that's great that you You had mentioned that. And also, I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you, um, since you do post so much on social media, I see that you have a great balance between posting personal and for business. So I wanted to ask you how you do you also do that intuitively, or do you have, you know, some kind of goal that you want to hit where it's like where you can find that you're striking that balance? Because I think you do that beautifully. There's a balance there that makes me feel like I can see your personal life, but yet you're very professional too. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of the time I'm posting to just add value, inspire, educate. And then when I'm in a launch or I'm selling something, then you're going to see a lot and most of my posts being around selling that program. So that's where my balance comes in, is that if I'm in a time where I'm not selling anything in the moment or promoting something, then it's going to be just a lot of value and inspiration. And still, when I'm selling something, it's a value, inspiration, educational post, but then it's going to have a call to action on it.
Right.
And so, some I don't sell as much as some entrepreneurs. Like some of them are selling every day, and that just hasn't been how I've built my business, um, and how I've built my business model. And so I'm going through these periods where I'm just showing up to show up and to continue to build an audience and build that know, like, trust factor, because I know people want to buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Right.
And then when it's time for me to sell something or promote something, then I'll go into that, but people don't feel turned off or anything like that because they've seen me show up. And when I do show up and sell, it's in a way that's heart centered. We should not be ashamed of asking for money at all. It is our
Amen.
birthright and it helps the economy. It helps others. Like, if people aren't paying for our services, they're not going to truly actually commit and follow through with them. And so it's really, really important as an entrepreneur to get over the blocks of selling and get over the blocks of having doubt in what you're charging. And maybe that's starting out charging a little bit low, build your confidence, and then raise your prices. But
Right.
it's really important to own that and to love to sell.
Right. So, speaking of projects or offerings, are you currently working on anything right now in your business? Anything upcoming?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a low cost masterclass, all about what I mentioned with the um, weekly ritual that I do. Basically, it's going to be a productivity masterclass helping more soul driven women to understand the moon and to understand their cycle and to understand planning, to be able to work smarter instead of harder, and to be able to be empowered. And as you said, not as reactive. And when I started to do this, it completely changed my business and how I work. It's allowed me to work less and earn more. And
Hmm.
so I'm going to be putting together this masterclass, which will be really powerful.
Well, you can tell that you're working less and enjoying life more because I see it on social media. You seem so happy, and congratulations on your engagement. I
Thank
saw that online
you.
as well. You seem very happy, and I'm very happy for you. Um, so, what's the best way for someone to connect with you?
Yeah. So on Instagram at Devani Freeman, so DeVaniFreeman. Also joining the Goddess CEO Sisterhood group on Facebook, and you can just search for that name on Facebook. It's a free group. That's a great way. Um, and if you go to my website, Devani Freeman, I've got some free trainings on there. And that's the best way. On my Instagram, I also have a free abundance energy activation that you can put in your name and email for. And that gets you connected, gets you on my email list, and has you stay up to date on all the things that I'm up to.
Awesome, awesome. I'll be sure to put all of those links in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining me today. I learned a lot. And I'm sure people listening have also picked up some great tips and advice from you. And thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Launching Light. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Devani as much as I did. If you love her vibe, give her a follow. Check out the show notes for her contact information, as well as how to get a hold of her free energy activation and Raise Your Vibration series. Be sure to join me next time on the podcast to get more tips, tools, and practices to help you make your business as magical as you are. Now get out there and launch your light. Have a magical week.